Welcome back. We are so very lucky that Carla Hall is letting us experiment with one of her recipes in her book, Cooking with Love. The one we chose, we pretty much had our pick, but the one we chose is a rustic mushroom tart. Take a look. That's what this looks like from the picture of her recipe. So we're just going to dive right in and not be afraid, because one of my favorite parts about her book is that she talks about that even chefs kind of worry that it's not going to work out. That's my biggest fear, that I'll start something in the kitchen and it won't work out. So it's okay. It's all gonna be okay. I think that's what she says. First thing we want to do is we're putting leeks in here. I have a bad experience with leeks because I was on this diet one time that you had to eat leek soup for the whole first weekend. Remember that French women don't get fat? Well, that's what it was. Polish women do, FYI. Anyways, it was leek soup in the beginning, and you had to eat that for a whole weekend, and I kind of turned off to leeks. So this is a new thing for me. We're going to put a leek. Starts out like this. It starts out really ugly, and you split it, and then you cut it into these half moons, according to Carla. So you just want one good amount of, just one. It came in a bag of 3, so I have that extra one. But you're going to make the leek like that and rinse it off good, because they're full of dirt inside. This is all dirt. It'll all come off, but you only want the light color. Up to here, it's just decoration, okay? We're not using this part at all. So in olive oil and butter, we're going to put mushrooms, leeks, and a little bit of chopped garlic. This is all Carla's recipe here. So this gets started for us. We want this on a medium to high heat, according to Carla's recipe. And that's gonna take a little bit of time. So that, I'm putting a little bit more heat on it, and also a little bit of salt in there, because she said if you don't have the salt, you won't have the compliments. I'm not sure exactly if that's when it's supposed to go in, but that's what we're doing. So while that goes, we're going to talk about some of the other components. She wants you to get these mushrooms to be brown. The mushrooms are kind of a combo platter of, I bought kind of a pack of gourmet mushrooms. You can use any kind, but it's a chef, so she wants you to use fancy mushrooms. I used fancy mushrooms. These are some shiitake mushrooms and a couple of others in a really cool pack that I got at the grocery store. And you can cut the mushrooms up smaller if you want, but I like things to be easy, so I did not. The other thing you want to know is this requires making dough. Carla's recipe for dough is in her book, and I actually did it, and in the end you make about 4 of these. You see that? It's on page 257. It's a really pie crust recipe that I really love and recommend, but I am a big scaredy cat, so I'm not going to actually roll this dough out on TV. But I want to show you, with Carla's recipe, you'll wind up with several of these discs, okay? They can be frozen or they can be in the fridge. This is going to be our crust, okay? And over here is the crust rolled out. Now, didn't I do a good job? Okay, I bought this one, all right? Just FYI, but you want to do that before you really get into this recipe. Look up her recipe for the pie crust, make it, chill it, or freeze it if you're going to do it a different day. So while that mushroom and leek concoction is in the pan getting brown, basically you want all of the liquid of the mushroom to kind of burn off, essentially, cook off. So I'm waiting for that to happen, right? And I'm stirring it every once in a while. Thank you, Carla, for the advice on that. All right, in the meantime, this is sort of like, I mean, we're calling it a rustic tart, but it's really more, in my vernacular, like a pizza. So that's how I'm going to tell my kids, is that we're making a pizza. So what we need to do is put the cheese concoction in there. She has goat cheese in her recipe. She has Parmesan cheese in her recipe, right? Yum. She has ricotta cheese in her recipe. And there's a little pepper. I already put the pepper in. She has pepper in this too to taste, kind of what you want. And that is going to be what we spread on our tart, okay? Finally, she has fresh rosemary leaves, and you want to chop those up as good as you can, but nothing smells more beautiful than rosemary. It smells like going into, I don't know what, Bed Bath & Beyond. But I love rosemary. Listen to me, talking about cosmetics. It's food. All right, so that is it. That's all you have to do for her filling or cheese of this dish. So I have that already. You see it up there in the camera? All right, so I have that already, and it's nothing to put together. It's nothing to mix together. Very easy. I didn't need a mixer, thank goodness, because you know what happens when I get the mixer out? Things explode. All right, so the thing that you're going to like about Carla's book is she has little anecdotes. First of all, she didn't start cooking until she was in her 30s. I like that. I didn't start cooking until my son said, could you please make us something to eat? And when I started actually worrying about my health. One really important thing about dieting or weight loss or changing your health is getting control of your food. And part of that is preparing it, knowing what's in it. Not that you have to be a great cook to get your health under control, but you do have to know what is in your food. So that was something, that's when I went down the path of learning how to be a better cook, is when I decided, wow, all this processed food isn't doing me any good. So I started late also. Carla, though, became a chef. I barely make it every week. I use recipes like Carla's to make people think I know what I'm doing, right? Okay, so these are getting browner. It's going to take a little bit of time to get your mushrooms as brown as you want them. But then, once you get them browned, and you see the leeks in there, it looks really good already, you're going to take white wine. Yeah, no, I know, you thought I would drink it. And you're going to put that in there. By the way, the first time I made this, I forgot the white wine step, and it still tasted good. I still really liked it. But basically, you're going to then let this cook off also. I'm going to keep my heat pretty high because of the TV thing. But you really just need medium high to make this happen. But you keep letting these go to town here. While these continue to cook, we're going to go back to the tart part of the situation. All right, like I said, she has a great recipe for pie crust, and I would recommend it, and I did do it. I brought it as proof so you wouldn't think I was a liar. It's the truth, I made it, and there's 2 in my freezer right now. It's really nice because she gives you step-by-step about cooling your bowl, cooling the paddles, cooling everything so that it's easier to work with. But because I am on TV and don't want to, you know, have it turn into a disaster, I actually bought a pie crust for this. And Carla recommends 12 inches. This is a, I think, 9-inch crust. But you spread the cheese mixture. And what you want to do is leave a good inch or 2 around the outside because we want to make it pretty and fold it over. So you just spread almost to the end, but not quite, okay? And look at how pretty the rosemary. See, that's a chef trick. I would never think, oh, add the rosemary. It's going to look gorgeous and taste gorgeous. And that is a fantastic idea. All right, so there is our very creamy, cheesy filling. And like I said, it is the easiest thing to do. There's no worry about spreading it. You're not breaking up your dough. And leave a little bit of space. So you see that? Looking pretty good. She recommends the parchment paper. I'm not sure why she does. I do because I like to wash things less. So I use foil and parchment paper whenever I can to line my pans because I've told Brittany this before, I'm apt to throw away a pan if I don't feel like cleaning it anymore. Not too environmentally correct, right? All right, so back over here to our mushrooms and leeks and garlic. I would say we're looking pretty good. Kind of scrape off the glaze at the bottom too. Make sure you get everything that was in the pan. Oh, I hope I'm doing this right, Carla. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not, but it's gonna be okay because I'm saying it smells good and it looks good. And I would say we're just about there with this. So I'm gonna turn this off and do the topping of the pizza. Oh, I mean rustic mushroom tart, but it's sort of a pizza. Fancy pizza? I think it's fancy pizza. All right, so we're now gonna spread the topping on the mixture. Put it over here. And again, do not go all the way to the edge because we're gonna do Carla's fancy trick. There we go. And just get all the stuff on the bottom as much as you can because that is what tastes the best, right? But one thing I really like about this is the rustic thing. I'm not a big fan of slicing and dicing, and I'm not a big fan of everything being the same size. I'm so not my grandmother's granddaughter that way. She could slice everything and it was all the exact same size. I cannot. So when it says rustic, I pay attention because then everything doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm gonna put that over here. So far, so good, right? All right, then finally, what we're gonna do while we left the spot is we're gonna create our edge. So all you have to do is fold it over and then pleat it every once in a while. That's what makes it look chef inspired, right? Look at that. Listen, if I can do this, you can do this. And I will say, sometimes when I get recipe books, I quit on them. I don't like them. They're too complicated, or clearly the person's so skilled that they don't know how to talk to me who's not as skilled. That's not the case with this book. This gave me exactly what I needed on how to do this. And believe it or not, all right, I don't know if you have that picture real quick that I gave you guys earlier, but take a look at what her book picture looks like. Okay, and now here's mine about to go into the oven. Not bad, right? I hope I get an A+ from Carla on this. Okay, so the oven, we're talking a 400-degree oven, and I will say, you know, you can put a butter glaze on top of your crust. That'll really make it golden. I did not do that this time with this because I was just kind of experimenting. But keep it with the parchment paper, everything right in the oven. You're talking 400 degrees. I sure hope, oh, thank goodness. All right, I have my oven mitt because this time I actually have the oven on. And here we go. This is the one, the completed one. I'm going to bring it over without dropping everything. All right, taking it over here. Here is the one that's completed. So, what do you think? Not bad, right? This was very easy. It made me feel very fancy because it's a chef recipe. And I can tell people it's a pizza in my house and they'll eat it. But it really is Carla Hall's recipe for a rustic mushroom tart. If I can do it, you can do it, and find it in her book, Cooking with Love. Thanks for the idea, Carla. When we come back, we're going to pin test, I think it's a cape. Stay with us.